You always knew it wasn't just about your physical presence. There was something more, something you carried in silence, yet it overflowed, even when you tried to hide it. The impact you had wasn't in the words you said, but in what made others feel without needing to explain. When they decided it would be better for you to go, what they were really doing was trying to erase a mirror that reflected truths no one had the courage to face. It was easier to blame your light than to confront their own shadows. They thought it would be a relief, that the emptiness would be less painful than your uncomfortable presence, but it wasn't. Soon they realized that your absence didn't bring peace. On the contrary, the silence became heavy, suffocating, as if every corner held the memory of something they couldn't destroy. It's always like this. What is buried without confrontation comes back even stronger. And now, even from afar, you remain the presence they can't erase. Have you ever felt this? That strange sense of being rejected simply because your existence exposes truths others don't want to see. If so, leave a comment. I needed to hear this. Time was the greatest judge. Each of their choices, every word spoken, each distancing, all turned into a weight they can no longer bear. They thought they were freeing themselves from a burden, but now they realize it was exactly that burden that was holding together what was crumbling. And the irony is cruel, because while they judged, you were growing. While they tried to erase you, your flame became more visible. While they diminished your worth, life revealed just how indispensable you were. It's not about revenge, it's about truth. The truth always finds a way. Sooner or later, what was rejected becomes what is missed the most. They thought they were gaining freedom, but in reality they lost what kept them grounded. And you? You gained something they never imagined. The awareness that you no longer depend on their approval. They believed that your absence would be the antidote to the pains they refused to confront. They thought that by pushing you away, they would be freeing the environment from conflicts, tensions, and uncomfortable truths. But now, the realization grows within them, like an echo impossible to silence. It wasn't you who brought chaos. It was you who maintained the little bit of order that was still left. And with each passing day, this becomes more evident. Have you noticed how some people only understand the value of someone after they've lost them? It's as if their presence is so commonplace that it becomes invisible. Only when the emptiness appears does the mind awaken. That's what happened. They convinced themselves that it would be better to cut the ties. They just didn't realize that this cut wouldn't bring relief, but rather bleeding. The curious thing is, deep down you already knew. You always knew that your role was never fully recognized. You were the silent strength, the quiet presence, the balance that no one celebrated. But now, when you're no longer there, every detail screams. Every memory they have points to what was lost, and this isn't just about longing, it's about regret. They start to revisit every choice, every gesture, every word thrown against you, and the weight of those memories becomes unbearable, because while they believed they were expelling a problem, they were destroying the very foundation. You don't need to take pride in that. Life is already showing it, time is already taking its toll. Absence speaks louder than any defense. And it's at this point that something profound happens. What was once invisible now becomes undeniable. They see that it wasn't you who weighed them down. It was you who lightened the load. It wasn't you who brought discord. It was you who avoided ruin. This revelation comes with pain. Pain because recognizing it means admitting they were wrong. It means acknowledging that they mistreated those who needed it most. It means realizing that the rush to judge cost too much, and in the silence of the nights, this echoes like a sentence. In the meantime, you move forward. You move on, because you've already understood that you can't live shackled to the opinions of others. You move because life has opened up a road before you that doesn't rely on approval. You move because you've discovered that your strength lies not in who recognizes you, but in who you truly are. And this act of moving forward is, paradoxically, what disturbs them the most. They expected your absence to be a fading away, but it turned out to be quite the opposite. From a distance, you became more present. Your absence transformed into a memory, your memory into regret, and regret into longing. It's inevitable. The more you grow, the more they feel the loss. There is an invisible justice in life. It's not the justice of courts, but the justice of the heart. The one that manifests over time in circumstances, in the twists and turns that no one can control. You are experiencing that justice now, not because you seek revenge, but because life returns everything that is sown. You were cast aside, but not defeated. You were rejected, but not forgotten. You were diminished, but not destroyed. And this combination is powerful, because those who tried to snuff out your flame are now illuminated by what they couldn't destroy. Perhaps you still feel open wounds. Perhaps you still carry the scars of words spoken, doors closed, and gazes that cut like blades. But realize this: each mark today is a sign of survival. Each scar proves that you not only endured, but transcended. And there is beauty in that journey. They thought it would be your downfall, but it was your rebirth. They believed they were weakening you, but unknowingly they were strengthening you. They thought they were getting rid of you, but they lost themselves without you. And it's right there that life reveals its sacred irony. What seemed like the end was actually a beginning. You might ask yourself, why did it have to be this way? Why the separation? Why the pain? And the answer is simple, yet profound. Because only then would you realize how little you depend on them. Only then would you discover that your worth isn't in being accepted, but in being who you are. Only then would you understand that the strength you carry cannot be diminished by rejection. It's as if life used rejection itself to reveal your true essence, and that is liberating. Now look around. See what you've become. See what you have achieved even without them noticing. See the depth of your own story, and realize you are not just the person who was pushed away. You are the living proof that nothing can be interrupted when truth is the foundation. They thought it was better for you to leave. Now they see that it got worse for them. But for you, that separation was a turning point. Have you ever felt that strength? That moment when everything seemed like a defeat, but later revealed a secret path to victory? If you've ever experienced something like this, share in the comments. What they don't understand is that life always collects its dues. Those who sow rejection reap emptiness. Those who sow judgment reap regret. Those who sow exclusion reap longing. And you are the fruit of that harvest. The absence that now gnaws at them is proof that your presence was always essential. Now, there's something deeper. Life didn't just push you away from them. Life repositioned you. While they look back and see the mistake, you look forward and see the purpose. And that changes everything, because it no longer matters if they recognize it or not. It no longer matters if they take it back or not. It no longer matters if they ask for forgiveness or not. What matters is that you moved on. And as you move forward, you left behind not just the place, but also the need to prove anything to them. You don't need to prove anything. Your existence is proof enough. That's the biggest turning point. You no longer live for them to recognize your worth. You live because you've discovered your own value. And when that happens, no rejection holds any power over you anymore. They never imagined that silence could be so loud. They thought that just distancing themselves from you would make everything right. But as the days went by, the absence began to scream in every detail. At first they tried to disguise it. They pretended that the absence was light, that the decision was right, that there was no regret. But that mask cannot hold. Life has a way of exposing truths. And now, even without speaking your name, they can't escape the memories. You can feel it, can't you? That invisible irony that shows how rejection turns into regret and disdain into longing. What they forgot is that you can't erase the root of something true. They can cut the branch, pull the leaf, try to destroy the surface, but the root remains there, alive, waiting for the time to bloom again. You are that root. They believed they had ended your influence, that your departure would be an end. But what they didn't understand is that you no longer needed to be present to remain impactful. Your story became a memory, your memory became awareness, your awareness became a silent judgment within them. And every time they try to move on as if nothing happened, life confronts them with your absence. In the meantime, you are transforming. You grow in silence. You discover strengths you didn't know you had. You unveil gifts that were previously dormant. You see yourself free from invisible chains that held you down. They thought they were diminishing you, but in reality, they made space for you to become greater. It's interesting how life shifts the scenery. What seemed like defeat turns into victory. What looked like a fall becomes an elevation. What felt like abandonment transforms into liberation. And today, as you look back, you understand it wasn't you who lost. They lost. They lost the balance you brought. They lost the truth that your presence revealed. They lost the clarity you carried in your gaze. And now, without you, they have to live with the echo of emptiness. an emptiness that cannot be filled with substitutions, distractions, or new superficial presences. Because not just anyone can carry the depth that you carried. Not just anyone can sustain the environment like you did, and this becomes clearer every day. You may still question why it took you so long to recognize your own worth. There might still be moments when memories bring pain. But even that pain is transforming. Because now each memory is also proof you survived. You didn't just survive, you thrived. And they know this. They might not admit it out loud. They might not acknowledge it in front of you. They might never have the courage to ask for forgiveness. But deep down, there's no doubt left. It was worse for them. This is the justice that doesn't need courts. It's the justice of life, which places each one in front of their own choices. They chose to believe it would be better for you to leave. Today, they live with the consequence. And you carry freedom. There's something profound in this. You didn't just leave an empty space, you left a lesson. The lesson that you can't discard what sustains you. The lesson that rejection doesn't erase value. The lesson that those who try to rid themselves of the truth will one day be forced to confront it. And now they are confronting it, even if they don't want to, even while trying to escape, even while attempting to deny it. Have you ever felt that strange silent victory? It's not revenge, it's not payback, it's not taking pleasure in others' pain. It's merely the realization that time reveals what no one wanted to admit. If this has happened to you, comment, "Yes, I've been there." While they get lost in regret, you continue discovering new horizons. The distance has opened doors that were once locked. It has cleared pathways that once seemed impossible. It has brought unexpected connections, opportunities that only appeared because you're no longer bound by their gaze. Life expands for those who embrace movement, and you embraced it. They watch and wonder, how did he manage that? How could he thrive after everything? How did he not crumble? And that is the answer they will never find on their own. Because what sustains you isn't their approval. It's something deeper. It's the recognition of your own essence. It's a strength that doesn't depend on applause. That's why you keep going. They, on the other hand, remain trapped. Trapped in wrong choices. Trapped in regret. Trapped in the absence they cannot fill. And that is too heavy to bear. Time doesn't turn back. The decision has been made. The distance was imposed, and now life is demanding payment. But you no longer need to carry the weight of proving anything. You've already proven it by existing. You've proven it by standing tall. You've proven it by not losing yourself in the face of rejection. This is your quiet victory. And even if one day they try to come back, even if they search for you again, they won't find the same person they once tried to push away. They will find someone stronger, more aware, more free, someone who has realized they don't depend on them. They thought time would erase you, that distance would dissolve your presence. But as the days went by, the mark it left became clearer. What was denied is now impossible to hide. They believed they were shedding a burden, but they were driving away what provided support. Their absence didn't bring lightness. It brought chaos. And every daily gesture, every silence, every memory forces them to realize they were wrong. In the meantime, you are thriving. The rejection didn't kill you. It set you free. What seemed like an end became a turning point. The emptiness they created turned into space for your growth. And the curious thing is that this growth, instead of alleviating their regret, only intensifies it. Because now they see, it wasn't you who lost. It was them. They lost their balance, lost their clarity, lost the presence that was sustaining them. And it doesn't matter how much they try to replace it. Nothing occupies the same space. Nothing fills the void left by someone who was never meant to be pushed away. And you don't need to prove anything. The simple fact that you exist, that you continue, that you grow, is proof enough. Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever felt that being rejected opened up space for your true freedom? If so, right here. I know what it's like. They thought things would be better. Now they realize it was worse for them. This conversation doesn't end here. If this resonated with you, the next video will reveal even more. Click now and stay with me, because the truth has only just started to be uncovered.